Hi guys. Something that I'm constantly asked about over at Instagram is how do I keep the fish that I keep without them destroying my reef? And I can see why. The angels and the moorish doesn't exactly have a reputation for being reef safe, but they are very beautiful fish that many would like to keep in their reef as well. So how do I do it? How can you keep angels, butterflies, idols, etc., that are generally not considered good reef inhabitants without them annihilating your corals? First off, let's get a couple of things straight. There are obligate corallivores, meaning that their main source of nutrients comes from eating corals, and there are what I would describe as opportunistic corallivores. What I mean with that is that they may munch on corals, but it's not their main diet. These guys generally feed on benthic organisms like algae, sponge, and other things that often grows at the base or in proximity of coral colonies. You can have some success with obligate corallivores, both in terms of feeding them and keeping them in a reef tank. Take the orange spotted filefish for an example. But this will be very high risk, and your chances of success of keeping them without any problems in a reef tank are slim at best. I'm actually thinking about perhaps adding an orange spotted filefish to my new 1,000 liter tank, since it should have enough corals to handle the possible damage it might cause. In the opportunistic corallivore category, you will find most angels, some butterflies, and of course the moorish idol. These guys are what we will be focusing on today. My first tip harkens back to what good old Duke Nukem used to say in the 90s. Balls of steel. There will most likely be some nipping, but don't freak out. Corals, healthy corals that is, can handle a few pecks here and there. Secondly is feeding. Since these guys don't actually live on a diet of corals in the wild, you have to make sure that they are well fed so that they don't get any stupid ideas in your reef tank. I feed my tank a mix of pellets and flake food 4 times a day with an auto feeder, as well as a feeding of frozen every evening. Typically 4 to 5 cubes of mysis, angel formula, krill, or brine shrimp. I find that this amount of feedings is what I have the best results with. I've forgotten to refill my auto feeder a couple of times, and without fail, the more risky fish, especially the idol, has started going after corals almost straight away. Lastly would be coral selection. The fact is that you will be somewhat limited to what you can safely keep with these kinds of fish. Sure, you might get lucky and find a specimen that won't touch things like acans, lobos, and other fleshy LPS, but it's a very risky proposition. Those kinds of corals aren't that great at handling the occasional nip either. I find that SPS is generally a safe bet with these fish, as they don't seem to be as appealing as the more fleshy varieties of LPS. However, you can see that I do keep some LPS in my tank. Over the years, I found that Goniopora, frog spawn, and torches will work 9 times out of 10. My guess is that they are fairly unpalatable. I've seen my fish try a bite, but they never go back for seconds. And even those kinds of corals can handle the occasional bite. Like I said a while ago, you will most likely have to accept that there will be the occasional nipping going on. So it's also very important to have a good mass of corals in your tank, so that the damage that occurs is spread out over several large colonies. If you just have a couple of frags in the tank, you will most likely have a bad time regardless of what other measures you try. That's it for this episode. I will be moving everything over to my new 1,000 liter tank this weekend, and I'll do my best to document that process and give you an overview of the system once it's up and running. If you want more frequent updates of my tank and my reefing life in general, go ahead and find me on Instagram, a link below. And please like this video if you found it useful. If you have any questions, comments, or think I left something out, please tell me below. Have a good one.